Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at AST Spacemobile, and this was a stock analysis request from one of our members, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I try to cover as many as possible, although with the ongoing demand this isn't a realistic expectation and I do have to prioritize the stocks and assets that are in high demand as well as the member requests when there is a video slot open. Now on this chart we have in fact a very interesting structure, because in this correction that I am tracking as a wave 4, we have very much exceeded the proportions we would have had for our wave 2 correction. Now this can be offset, however, by the sheer strength of the structure we have formed within this wave 3 to the upside. Yeah, we have pushed, what is it, like 18x? Yeah, it should be expected that we get a more substantial correction regardless of how small, how tiny the wave 2 correction has been within this structure. So this is why I am actually considering this to be a valid interpretation. Nonetheless, I do see the risk of forming rather an ABC pattern within this area, where a more substantial top could be formed even within a corrective pattern. Now, in either case, I would be looking for a very similar structure in this movement to the upside. I would be tracking an ending diagonal at the moment. This would be my focus. And sure, something more bullish could actually work out within very many structures, very many interpretations, but I don't believe that should necessarily be a focus, because we are indeed within a high risk area, since we have already formed what is expected of a 5-wave pattern. I am able at this point to consider that this structure to the upside is complete and that we do not require any additional extensions higher to consider a top to already be in place. Yeah, here we have a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, a wave 3 up, a wave 4 down, and a wave 5 up. This would allow me to consider this 5th wave to already be in place, and sure, extensions would be possible, once again, within many structures, some of them even quite bullish, but for those very bullish expectations, I would be looking to hold at least the $60.7 level, where this could work out as an ABC structure or as a 1-2 setup in one way or the other. Now, other than this, I could be looking for this 5th wave to extend within a slightly different pattern as well, where this wave 3 could have formed to the top all the way up here instead, and we would be able to track a potential wave 4 correction, but I wouldn't necessarily consider this too reliable, and I would caution you that we are within a high risk area once again, and that to look for continuation to higher prices from a larger time frame perspective is of incredibly high risk in my opinion. So for this interpretation, I could be looking for an area of support down to the $38.6. Again, for me, below the $60.7, it is rather a stronger signal that a more substantial top would already be in place and that we might be in our larger wave 2 correction. So that is what we will continue to focus on in this yellow structure. But within this area of support in yellow, we can actually still extend to higher prices. And I might even prefer it, because the internal structure within this area does seem a bit incomplete. I would like to actually see if it can form another high. And if we go into the smaller time frame, we see some interesting developments as well. But before we do that, I wanted to briefly mention our channel newsletter, where you get access to our monthly top picks, yeah, stocks and assets that provide high quality structures with clear areas of accumulation, and structures that simplify risk management for you, which is one of the most important parts of trading. The sign up link is in the description. It is completely free, but if you enjoy our content and you want to support us, you can check out our channel membership. The link for that is in the description as well, or you can click the join button and you will even get access to additional content. Now, on the larger time frame, before we do the smaller time frame, I wanted to provide you our large area of support that would be expected to be reached in the scenario where a substantial top would be in place in a potential wave 1 in this area, and that would be at the levels between the $26.3. We have room, however, all the way down to the $4.9 for this correction to unfold. We expect to form a 3-wave pattern And as long as we hold the area of support, it doesn't really matter how deep within it we go. We expect only a touch of the 38.2% retracement. That would be the minimum expectation. But we are looking with high probabilities for continuation to higher prices from this area. Unless we get extensions, we would need to adjust it, and we would need to allow something potentially even more bullish to be going on. But I wanted you to have the main area of support from the larger time frame perspective. Now, in the smaller time frame, the interesting aspect of this development to the downside, this descent, is that we are actually able to identify a potential complete correction. Now, I will have a scenario where this could actually, whoops, I misplaced this wave 1, a scenario where this could form an initial 5-wave move to the downside, and we will have a relevant area of resistance for such an expectation. But at the same time, I am able to track this as a potential A, B, C structure in a wave A. Yeah, we have here a wave A, and then we have here a wave B up and a wave C to the downside. In this structure, in this expectation, I do not need any additional extensions lower. And we could already start looking for the reversal. And on top of that, we have the relevant resistance levels up to the 61.8% retracement to signal to us that a more substantial bottom would indeed be in place. So if we break above the $100 level, we would expect this to no longer unfold to the downside as a 5-wave pattern. That would actually strongly suggest that after a 3-wave correction, we would be looking with high probabilities for trend continuation within at least another 5-wave move to the downside. Now, already we have pushed into this previous swing high. We actually formed a slightly higher high, which allows us to consider that this wave to the downside is in fact complete and that we wouldn't be looking to extend even further within it. Now, be mindful that we have already pushed into our area of resistance and we might be able to turn within a 5th wave at any point, although I would probably expect to extend a little bit more within this wave 4, since the proportions do seem a bit out of place compared to this wave 1. Now, not necessary, we could already be forming the 5th wave to the downside, and if we do extend within another low in this area, it is quite a bit of a warning sign. Now, for the extension to higher prices, I could give you some ideas. We could be looking for an ABC structure. We could be looking for this to be part of this wave 3 still, within a larger ABC pattern that would imply very, very strong extensions. But we are within a high risk area, and I believe it is very important that we identify within a smaller time frame a high quality structure such as an initial 5-wave move to the upside that would allow us to look for a potential 1-2 setup or a similar structure, because sure, there is still a lot of potential on this chart, but there is substantial lack of clarity. Having many options, having the possibility to push to higher prices isn't necessarily a positive sign, because it impedes our ability to look for a more reliable plan. And for me, we have the most relevant area of support for continuation to higher prices, in my opinion, in this yellow structure down to the $60.7, against the 78.6% retracement here. We can look for continuation to higher prices with somewhat of a more decent degree of probabilities. I wouldn't trust as much the orange area of support, and keep in mind the risk. Below the $60.7 level, I am rather expecting that we would be going into our large area in yellow, possibly down to the $26.3. Now, of course, a million options are possible in terms of scenarios, of structures. It's just that I find these to be the most likely interpretations, and if we manage to break the area of support from a smaller time frame in yellow, we go through it, we slash through it, we don't get to our larger area of support in yellow, let's say we even end up here in this gap, and we manage to create an initial 5-wave move to the upside, I am open to having my mind changed. I am open to looking for a potentially more bullish structure within a different scenario. But until this is the case, for me, the risk significantly increases below the $60.7 level. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.